we don't. It's Thomas, and we are back with something that we haven't seen in a few weeks now. It's been a while since the last UFC came about. It's the predictions for UFC 210 this weekend. This is only going to be a quick one because I have got a job to go to and other such life bullshit that we have to get on with. But we are getting up and running. Let me just check the sound. Be a quick one. Yeah, we're sound. Okay. We'll also get this all shared out on all my social medias and all that balls. And let's see. And I'm gonna chuck some links in the description once I'm finished and stuff like that with my links to the UFC fantasy website and stuff like that, and also the league that I made. Even though that I don't really pay attention to the league at the moment, just because there's nobody in it. So I think there's one person at the minute, but I haven't checked it. So let's see. We'll update this little tweet with some hashtags and ats and stuff, as you do. Yeah. And we're live now, folks, so let's get this started. There we go. Right then. So while this goes on, we will throw on the main event, Cormier versus Johnson 2. If all goes to plan. Oh, and it's already there as well. If all goes to plan, put him in his champ shorts because you know he's going to wear them. There you go. 5 rounds. That'll do, and we'll see how this one plays out on the scorecards. If it goes to the scorecard, you know what Rumble's like. And while I talk about these, we're going to be selecting them. I haven't made my picks just yet, so I'm just literally going through the main bits and pieces. So we've got Janelle Loaza versus Magomed Bubulatov. And I'd be lying if I told you if I knew either of these two guys are. But Bubulatov is from Russia and undefeated in 13 fights with quite a few submissions and knockouts. So we're going to go with the undefeated guy. We're going to throw him in there. I'm going to put him in for a knockout in the second round of the first fight of the night. We'll see what happens. We've got Katlyn Chookagian and Irene Aldana. Now they're about the same age, although Chookagian does look a little bit rougher. It looks like Aldana's probably not had too many punches to the face, but she has had an extra fight, and Aldana has won a lot by knockout. No decisions for Aldana, so we're gonna even in the game, Daniel Cormier gets booed when he walks out. That'll count, but this time in the third round, she'll probably beat her up. Josh Emmett versus Desmond Green. This is at lightweight. And Emmett has got 11 wins, no losses. And Desmond Green's 19-5. I'm going to say Emmett by the decision, just 'cause it looks like he tends to get decisions quite often.
Johnson is 32, Cormier is 36.
Now then, this one's going to be interesting. We've got Gregor Gillespie and Andrew Holbrook. Now, Gregor Gillespie, as far as I'm aware, is a wrestling phenom out of the States, and has been tearing people. He claims to have the best wrestling in the UFC, full stop, better than anyone there. So I've never seen any of his fights. I've seen a little bit of his training videos online, but there's only, look at Ronda Rousey, there's only so much you can learn from training videos. Ronda Rousey looked amazing, like an absolute murderer on the bags with, what's his face, Edmund Tarverdyan. She looked like an absolute gangster, hitting those mats with him, hitting those pads, and then she went out against Holly Holm, which I was there live for, and she got her head kicked in, which is one of the best moments of my life. And then she went out against Amanda Nunes, undeservedly so, by the way, and got her face pummeled again, because she doesn't learn. But she looks good on the bags, not so good in the ring. So I'm going to say Greg Gillespie by decision, although he does have some knockouts on his record as well. The UFC is a different level, and Andrew Holbrook is not, I don't recognise, like I recognise his name, but I can't think of where he's been fighting, who he's been fighting with, and I am limited on time this morning, so I'm not really going to be going into his whole record and backstory, but I'm going to say Gregor Gillespie by decision. Pat Cummins versus Jan Blachowicz. This could be a rough one for Blachowicz, because I thought they would be really trying to hone in on that Polish talent. You know that JJ is the champion. Joanna champion. Absolutely love her. She's the best. But Patrick Cummins is a rough fight for Blachowicz, because Cummins has got amazing wrestling, and Blachowicz, as most European fighters, probably don't have the best wrestling. It's not that it's terrible. Mainly what our European guys tend to do is just be able to stop the takedown. As soon as you get the European guys down, they can't do very much from the ground. Like there's Arnold Allen is a very good exception who can take people down and do really well on the ground. But in general, we're not as up to the wrestling as the Americans are. It just has to be said. Now I'm going to say Pat Cummins by submission, no, by decision. He's going to take the decision. Not going to be able to knock out Blachowicz. Charles Rosa versus Shane Burgos. Burgos? I think that's how you pronounce that. This is the American. Is Rumble Johnson on top? It's not what I would have expected at this point. Always jumped into half guard, but it's not going to happen. Anyway, Shane Burgos, Charles Rosa. Okay. Oh, this is the first time I've seen in the UFC.com/fantasy it says stance. Now Shane Burgos is orthodox. This is the first time I've seen it say switch. So Charles Rosa obviously can be either way, orthodox or southpaw. A lot of people can, but this is the first time I've seen it say switch, so that's an interesting little thing to note. But Rosa doesn't have the reach or the height, so I'm going to say Burgos by decision. Don't think he's going to get the knockout, but he's got the height and reach advantage. Now Sean Strickland and Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman looks like he is an experiment. Why does he look like that in this photo? My lord.
Good work from the bottom by Cormier.
He looks like somebody went, we've got a new kind of roid. We're not entirely sure what to do with it. Do you want to give it a go? And he was like, give me all of it. Pump it into my veins. He's from Nigeria. 6 foot, 76-inch reach. 9-1 record, whereas Sean Strickland's 18-1. It's a good record, but I don't think Sean Strickland deserved a lot of his wins in the UFC. So I'm going to say Kamaru Usman by first round knockout, and he's going to just spark him, take his head off, and just decapitate him. Massive uppercut. Mike De La Torre versus Myers Jury. Obviously De La Torre is the underdog here, but Myers Jury, we haven't seen him since he got beat up by Cerrone a little while back. In fact, apparently he's had a second loss since then. I don't remember that. I remember he got knocked out once, didn't he? And then that was the last I remember of him. Oh, Oliveira. Oh no, he didn't get knocked out. Cerrone decisioned him, but beat him up and got mad at him and started volleying him. And then at the end of that year, Oliveira submitted him, and we haven't seen him at all throughout 2016. And now it's halfway through, well, a third of the way through 2017, and he's now coming back. So he's been off for a year and a half nearly. But still, Mike Del Torre comes in as the underdog. So I'm going to pick the underdog. I'm going to say the underdog's going to get the submission in the second. I doubt it, because Marvis Jury is a very well-rounded fighter. It's just that he got unlucky against Oliveira, and Cerrone just beat the shit out of him, let's face it. And then Charles Oliveira is on this card as well, fighting Will Brooks at lightweight. It's an excellent idea. It's a good fight. I'm going to say Will Brooks is going to get the knockout in the first. I think he's just going to take Oliveira's head off and just run in and plough through him. Alves versus Cote. This is where I'm torn. Patrick Cote has been getting better and better despite his age. He's 37 now. But Thiago Alves, I've loved him from day one. So I'm going to say Alves by decision. I don't think he'll get the knockout. It's at welterweight as well. I thought Alves moved down to lightweight. Apparently not. So Alves at welterweight against Cote. That might change things actually. I still think that Alves will win, but maybe he'll get the... No, we'll say decision. I was thinking he might get the knockout at welterweight because he's got a bit more mass on him. Cynthia Calvillo, who was literally fighting not too long ago, is fighting Pearl Gonzalez in her UFC debut. Now, Sylvia Calvillo impressed me in that fight. She absolutely dominated. So I'm going to say that she's going to go in there, she's going to get a first round KO, and she's just going to finish it. She's going to... probably a TKO, to be fair. Now then, co-main event, Weidman versus Mousasi. I'm going to have to say... oh, it's a bit of a struggle for me, you see. We've got... I'm going to say Mousasi. Let's face it, it's easy to say Mousasi. Chris Weidman's been on the decline since he's lost to Rockhold. Mind you, he's only had 2 losses, but even still. Like Weidman just doesn't seem to have the... you know, the strength and the not the strength, he definitely has the strength. He doesn't seem to have the same mentality as he used to have. He used to go in, he was quite unpredictable, really wild, and went in and he was very tactical. He had really high fight IQ, and now it just seems like he lost the fight to Rockhold because he tried a spinning wheel kick. You're Chris Weidman, you're the wrestling base boxer from New York. Aight? You're not supposed to go in with spinning wheel kicks. Leave that to Barboza. That's not your job. Don't try it. And Gegard, despite the weirdly impressive KO from Uriah Hall, he's got, you know, 4 wins after that. But other than that one little blemish, he's been doing incredible in the UFC. You know, just ploughing through people like Thiago Santos and UFC 200, flying through it, just one big punch to the nose, knocked him down. Like, he's much better than most people give him credit for. So I'm going to say that Mousasi is going to knock out Weidman in the second round, which not many people, I don't think many people would say that. No, 50% of the people that picked Mousasi picked by decision. So now this is interesting. Anthony Johnson is actually the favourite coming into this fight, under most betting odds anyway. And even on the UFC Pick'em website, 59% of people have picked Rumble. By 59% of people have picked Rumble, and of that 59%, 91% think that Rumble is going to knock out Cormier. Whereas 41% of people pick Cormier, and 44 of those 41 think it's going to be a decision. Ooh. Ooh, body shot. But this is how I want. This is how I want this to go. I want Rumble Johnson to come in there and finish him quicker than he finished Glover. just walk in, a straight right hand on the nose to DC, just crumble him, fold him up like a deck chair, send him to bed. A few Maud strength Panadol, Maud strength beer and a Panadol for your Aussie man reviews. You know, I don't expect anything different. Like that's what I want to happen. I want Rumble Johnson to run in and knock him out and walk out as the champion. DC Rumble, UFC Fight Week. That's the dream, right? I don't see this fight going any differently than it did last time, though. I expect DC to try and keep the distance for his, so that he doesn't want to stay in his range. He doesn't want to get caught with one of those big hooks or uppercuts. But he's going to want to take it down and just wait on him and just grind him into the mat, punish him with elbows and punches, and just grind him out and paste him and smush him up against the mat, and then do something like this. Go for the submission, maybe something a little bit flashier next time around. And I don't see this being any different to the first fight. Probably a third round submission for Cormier. Now, out of hope, I'm going to put Anthony Rumble Johnson by KO in the first round. I'm going to save that. And that is the they are my picks. That's what I believe may happen. So Rumble by KO in the first, Musasi by KO in the second, Calvillo by KO in the first, Alves by decision, Will Brooks by KO in the first, De La Torre by submission in the second, Usman versus KO in the first, Burgos by decision, Cummins by decision, Gillespie by decision, Emmett by decision, and then Irene Aldana by KO in the third, and Bubulatov by KO in the second. In fact, I'm going to change that to submission in the second for Bubulatov, just because he has more submissions, and I don't think I've picked that many submissions. I think that was only the second submission of the, how many fights on this card? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 fights on this card, you see. So, yeah, that's fine by me. Now, at the moment, I'm doing alright. Over the year, 42 picks are correct out of 78, so I'm just over 50%. Over the past per period, which I think is 3 months, so January, February, March, so in April, oh no, I don't know then, for the second period of this year, I'm 22 out of 34 correct. I'm number 150 in the world this period. So I will actually tweet that out, because that's a nice impressive record. No, let's leave that. So what we'll do is we'll tweet out my results now, or my picks even, and we'll wait for this Cormier fight to finish before I end the stream. And we're going down to round 3.
Fourth round.
Hey Roll, how you doing?
Nice parry there.
Just quickly running through my predictions for the UFC this weekend before I get off to work, because I'm not really excited for this card, if I'm honest with you. I think there's probably going to be a few good fights on there, but I'm just not hyped about it. We've had 3 weeks without any UFC, and now we've come into this big event, UFC 210, possibly basically just setting up the Jones return, and I didn't feel like anyone gives a shit. Nobody cares, there's not any buzz about it, so I'm just struggling to be enthused about this fight.
In the full guard here. Always keep it busy from the bottom. Into half guard.
I mean, what do you feel? Rumble Cormier, what do you honestly expect to happen in that fight?
Looking to do some damage from the bottom.
See, it is the cards that look boring that are the best. That UFC Canada card with Doo Ho Choi and Cub Swanson on it, that and the Max Holloway and the Anthony Pettis, that card was amazing. Everyone was like, that's a crap card. You're having an interim title on the top of the card. Is it UFC 209 or 208 or something? No, it's 208. Was it? Or was it 207? I can't remember anymore. It's I've slept since then.
This could be it right here.
But it's just, it seemed on paper like it was going to be a really shitty card, and it wasn't. It was amazing. One of the best cards of the year, hands down. So it's just, anything can happen. It's the UFC.
Into side control again. Full mount.
Now I have got a league set up on the UFC.com/fantasy website, and I'll be adding that link into my description, as well as the link to my picks itself, for all to see. It's all documented, evidenced, so that if if I get 100% correct, nobody can deny me then.
Cormier with the big knee to the body. He's got him in the crucifix, and now he's really using his body weight against him. 15 seconds remains in the round. Cormier gets it back to side control. They have fought for 20 minutes. That is the end of round number 4. Man, this is not good. Daniel Cormier's eyes have started to swell.
Really bad at this point, Mike. Some really significant swelling around both eyes.
You get 4 rounds of rumble and make sure that you can't see.
Full submission offense here. Here's another look at it here. And let's see if we can get a better look at that from another angle.
What fight looks good from the card? So the fights that look good from the card, I mean, I'm excited for Mousasi versus Weidman, just because I don't really like Weidman. I think he's a bit of a knob, so if he gets knocked out, then I'll be happy. We've got Bull Bucks and Charles Oliveira. That'll be a good fight. And even though they're older, Alves versus Cote is a really exciting fight. I think that they're going to go in, you know, Alves hasn't exactly done the best since he's come back from his knee injury, I think it was. I think he tore his ACL or something, and had a few problems for a little while. And then when he came back, he hasn't looked the best. He's had a couple of wins, couple of losses, nothing too special, but I think that fight is going to be good. Cote's coming off that loss from Cerrone, where he pretty much did not want to get knocked out, but had no choice otherwise. So it should be good to sort of see what goes on, see how it plays out. I hope Alves wins, because I've got a soft spot for Alves. He's one of the first fighters I started watching.
He's got some space now. He's posturing up.
Hip escape, nice hip escape.
3 minutes remain.
Looks like probably end up getting a decision out of this one. Don't think anyone's going to sleep.
Full guard.
Good right by Cormier.
Nice combination of strikes from the full guard.
And he's got the back. He's probably going to go for that rear naked and then switch it back to the armbar again. Yep.
He pops out of the rear naked choke.
That is not how you escape a rear naked choke. You don't just lift up. Cormier just drops on there.
He postures into
See,
place.
yeah, see, I've got to agree with you there. I think Johnson's going to have to go for the KO. It's not that he's going to go for the KO, it's that he needs to go for that KO. Rumble is a really good wrestler, but DC is better. It's just that simple. Rumble's done high school wrestling, and I think he did college wrestling as well. He's got a wrestling background, but he's just really strong with his punches. He just knocks people the fuck out and makes sure that they don't remember what happened. You know, Glover Teixeira still doesn't know where his teeth are. So,
Cormier with good ground and
It's just going to be, Rumble has to knock him out, and if he doesn't knock him out, Rumble's not going to win.
He's moved to full guard.
they go the distance.
That's it, that's the decision. We'll see what comes of it soon.
He's appeared to land the bigger shots tonight. And one would think it makes for a pretty straightforward decision.
Absolutely, the shot that he landed.
See, the problem is the decisions in this game are absolutely shocking.
And I believe
Oof.
And here's another clean shot that lands.
Mind you, I've just had a thought. I did not think Garbrandt would beat DC unless it was a knockout. I say DC, I mean Dominic Cruz, not Daniel Cormier. Garbrandt would never beat Daniel Cormier. Cormier would murder him, he'd just sit on him. But I didn't think Garbrandt would beat Cruz by knockout, unless it was a knockout, sorry. And yet he outclassed him for 5 minutes, beat him up on the feet. So maybe Rumble's put a few wrinkles in his game. Maybe he's just sharpened up that takedown defense and that clinch game to basically nullify any of DC's attack. And maybe this is what we're going to see. Is this a prediction for the future? Who knows? But Rumble wins by decision in this instance. Hopefully, Rumble wins whatever the means. If he submits DC, I'll be flabbergasted. But the odds on that are ridiculous. But that is going to be all for today, guys. We've quite a few little bits and pieces. We've gone through all the fights. I've got things to do now. I've got to get off to work. But remember to squeeze that like button if you enjoy what you saw today. Jump into the description. There's the link to my picks for UFC 210, and you can join the Duckies League and compete against me. Each week you sort of just pick who you think's going to win, and the person who gets more right and is more accurate gets more points. And subscribe to become a Ducky, and you get more notifications and things like that whenever I start streaming and put out these prediction videos. And I'll be doing as many prediction videos as I can. So whenever the next event is, presumably it's next week, because we've been quite a long while without it. Then we'll go from there. But thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in a bit, peeps.